Hello everyone. You are watching a segment of the Countdown program from October 19, 2023. Today is Thursday. See this and other programs in full on the Patreon resource. And thanks to everyone who is becoming our patrons right now. I'll talk about the themes of the postscript a little later, but now about the most important thing. The day before yesterday, on Tuesday, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz visited Israel, yesterday US President Joe Biden visited Israel, and today British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak arrived in Tel Aviv. We won't be sarcastic, but sometimes it's useful. Lying face down on the asphalt during an air raid. This is exactly what happened with the delegation of the German Chancellor, who had already settled down in the plane to fly back to Berlin, but everyone had to go outside and lie down on the asphalt due to the danger of a missile strike. On Thursday it became known that the Bundeswehr has deployed elite special forces to Cyprus, which could be used in an operation to free German citizens from captivity of the Islamist Hamas movement, as well as in the evacuation of Germans from the Gaza Strip or Lebanon. The special forces of the Federal Police, which specialize in the release of hostages, have also been mobilized. The Bundeswehr also concentrated military transport aircraft in the region. By the way, the story of the inhumane attack on the hospital ended with the complete failure of Islamist propaganda. Its own, friendly Al Jazeera Live showed a rocket attack carried out by Islamic Jihad, as a result of which one of the rockets fell in the area of the hospital. There were no hundreds killed there, although dozens of casualties are also a lot. But the main thing is that the propagandists failed to shift responsibility onto the Israelis, portraying them as bloody murderers of women and children. Biden's visit was brief but businesslike. Tough questions were asked and specific answers were received. Result: by the end of this week, Biden plans to ask Congress for a $100 billion tranche of aid, which includes $60 billion to help Ukraine, as well as $40 billion for Israel, Taiwan and to protect the US-Mexico border. These funds are to be allocated for the current fiscal year, which ends in September 2024. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, who flew to Tel Aviv, declared his unconditional support for Israel and called the Hamas attack an unspeakable, horrific act of terrorism. Today he met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Israeli President Isaac Herzog. The next person expected to visit Israel is French President Emmanuel Macron. The collective West is uniting around Israel in order, on the one hand, to prevent the war from escalating in the Middle East, and on the other, to help with minimal losses and deal with terrorists as quickly as possible. True, in Israel itself they say that the war with Hamas will be long, since Tel Aviv's goal is not only to defeat terrorists, but also to make the southern part of the country 100% paradise. Watch this and other stories in full on Patreon. Become our patrons right now and look further in this program. The American Institute for the Study of War notes the obvious successes of the Ukrainian armed forces in the Kherson direction. Meanwhile, a new escalation is being recorded in Avdiivka. The occupiers are not giving up their attempts to capture the city. Pro-Palestinian organisms are bringing a far from heavenly atmosphere to the Western world. In Washington, a large group of sympathizers broke into the Capitol building, and in Berlin, Friends of Palestine fired firecrackers. The results of Putin's visit to China are ambiguous. The Beijing panda promises everything and smiles, but is in no hurry to approve the power of Siberia 2, because she remembers how the rat can turn a pipe into a geopolitical weapon. And Lavrov has already rushed from Beijing to Pyongyang. The cave needs ammunition. Or perhaps she is going to spark a war between the two Koreas. Watch in the program, Postscript. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has hit out at Russian leader Putin over his cynical revelations about the Middle East conflict. And the bald man himself is preparing for re-establishment. He is not old, but superstar, so the topic of age will be taboo in the pre-hemp campaign. The Apashechka approved the image of Putin as healthy, physically active, youthful and dynamic. After shocking innovations and the renaming of Twitter to social network X, its owner Elon Musk may move on to more radical actions, allowing for the possibility of blocking social network X in the European Union. And that is all. See our full programs on Patreon. And thanks to everyone who is becoming our patrons right now. I hugged everyone. We will meet you tomorrow on Friday Live. Glory to Ukraine.